The Witching Tree. A tale of haunting revenge. Welcome to the Stuffed Capsicum Bedtime Stories, where curiosity meets the uncanny. Tonight, as you settle in for a story before bed, we take you to a small, forgotten town nestled deep in the woods. A town where the past lingers like a shadow, and where the restless spirits of long-forgotten souls still roam. This is the story of the Witching Tree. The legend begins. Our story begins in the early 1800s, in a town known as Hollow's End. It was a place much like any other, where the townsfolk worked hard and looked after one another. But Hollow's End was hiding a dark secret, one that would forever change the fate of the town. In those days, fear of witchcraft ran deep in the hearts of the people. Whispers of dark magic and curses spread like wildfire, and anyone suspected of witchcraft was met with suspicion and dread. It was during this time that 3 women accused of practicing the dark arts were brought to trial in Hollow's End. The trial was swift and merciless. The women, Margaret, Eliza, and Agatha, were found guilty of witchcraft and sentenced to death by hanging. The place of their execution was a gnarled old tree at the edge of the woods, a tree that would come to be known as the Witching Tree. On a cold morning, shrouded in fog, the 3 women were led to the Witching Tree. The townspeople watched in silence as the nooses were placed around their necks. But before they were hanged, Margaret, the eldest of the 3, spoke with a voice that sent chills down the spines of all who heard her. "You who condemn us in fear and ignorance, hear my words. As our lives end, so too shall your peace. For as long as this tree stands, our spirits shall remain. Those who disturb our rest shall know our wrath, and Hollow's End shall never be free of the darkness you have sown." With those final words, the 3 women were hanged, their bodies left to swing in the cold wind. The townspeople, now filled with regret and fear, quickly dispersed, leaving the Witching Tree to stand alone, a grim reminder of the day they had let fear guide their actions. But Margaret's curse was not an empty threat. From that day forward, the Witching Tree became a place of dread. Strange things began to happen in Hollow's End, unnatural things that defied explanation. And on certain nights when the moon was full, the spirits of the 3 women were said to return, seeking revenge on those who disturbed their resting place. Years passed, and the memory of the Witching Tree faded from the minds of the townspeople. But the curse remained, waiting for its next victim. One day, a young boy named Thomas, full of curiosity and innocence, wandered too close to the Witching Tree while playing in the woods. Drawn by an inexplicable force, Thomas approached the tree. The air grew cold, and the branches seemed to reach out toward him, casting long, dark shadows that danced in the moonlight. He hesitated, sensing something was wrong, but his curiosity got the better of him. The moment Thomas touched the tree, the ground beneath him trembled, and a cold wind howled through the woods. The spirits of the 3 women appeared before him, their faces twisted in anger and sorrow. The branches of the tree lashed out, nearly striking the boy. Terrified, Thomas ran back to the village, his heart pounding in his chest. He told the townspeople what he had seen, but they dismissed his story as a child's imagination. After all, the Witching Tree was just an old, twisted tree, nothing more. But soon the town began to suffer. Crops that had once flourished began to wither and die. Livestock disappeared without a trace, and an eerie silence settled over Hollow's End. It was as if the land itself was cursed. The townspeople, once skeptical of Thomas's story, now began to fear the Witching Tree. Whispers of Margaret's curse spread through the town like wildfire. The tree became a place to avoid, a place where even the bravest of souls dared not venture. Desperate to end the suffering, some suggested cutting down the tree, believing it would break the curse. But others warned against it, fearing that disturbing the tree would only anger the spirits further. The town was divided and the tension grew with each passing day. The witching tree stood tall and unyielding, its branches twisted and gnarled, as if mocking the town's attempts to escape the curse. The spirits of Margaret, Eliza, and Agatha watched from the shadows, their presence felt but unseen, waiting for the moment when they would be disturbed once more. As the years passed, the suffering in Hollow's End grew unbearable. The town was on the brink of collapse, and the villagers knew they had to take action. A group of brave men and women, armed with axes and torches, gathered at the edge of the woods, determined to cut down the witching tree and end the curse once and for all. As they approached the tree, the wind began to howl, and the sky darkened as if in warning. But the villagers were resolute. They would not be swayed by fear. With axes raised, they struck the tree, their blows echoing through the forest like a death knell. The tree groaned and creaked as the axes bit into its ancient wood. The spirits of the three women emerged from the shadows, their faces twisted in anger and sorrow. The villagers hesitated for a moment, but their fear of the curse drove them to continue. With one final mighty blow, the witching tree fell with a thunderous crash, its branches splintering as it hit the ground. The spirits of Margaret, Eliza, and Agatha wailed in despair, their voices echoing through the woods as they were released from their earthly bonds. An eerie silence fell over the town as the last of the spirits faded away. The villagers stood in stunned silence, unsure of what they had done. Had they finally ended the curse, or had they unleashed something far worse? In the days that followed, the town began to recover. The crops flourished once more and the livestock returned. The people of Hollow's End slowly returned to their normal lives, relieved that the curse seemed to be lifted. The fallen witching tree, now rotting and forgotten at the edge of the woods, became a symbol of the town's dark past. The spirits of the three women were gone, but their memory lingered in the minds of the townspeople, a reminder of the consequences of fear and ignorance. Hollow's End returned to its former prosperity, but the legend of the witching tree was never far from the townspeople's thoughts. They knew that some things were better left undisturbed, and that the past could never truly be forgotten. As the years passed, the story of the witching tree became a cautionary tale, passed down from one generation to the next. It was a story of fear, regret, and the consequences of disturbing things best left alone. Around campfires and in the quiet of night, the children of Hollow's End would gather to hear the tale of the witching tree. They would listen with wide eyes as the elders spoke of the curse and the spirits that once haunted their town. And though the witching tree itself may have fallen, its memory loomed large in the minds of the people. For in Hollow's End, they knew that the past was never truly gone. It was merely waiting, like the spirits of the three women, to be disturbed once more. As we bring this tale to a close, we are reminded that some stories linger long after they are told. The witching tree may be gone, but its legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of those who remember. So as you drift off to sleep tonight, remember the tale of Hollow's End and the witching tree. And if you ever find yourself in a small town with a dark past, think twice before disturbing the ground where ancient secrets lie. For you never know what spirits may still be watching, waiting. And that brings us to the end of another captivating journey with this stuffed capsicum. Thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of our global community of knowledge seekers. Remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss any of our exciting videos filled with fascinating facts, surprising discoveries, and a touch of AI magic. Stay stuffed with knowledge by exploring our diverse playlists, and be sure to share your favorite videos with friends and family. We appreciate your support and can't wait to continue serving up a delectable mix of educational and entertaining content. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those stuffed capsicums of wonder rolling.